The hallway smelled like bleach and fear. In 2014, a leaked video from Rikers Island showed what the guards never meant the world to see: a teenage boy beaten until his body stopped fighting back. It wasn't a movie. It was real. It was daily life behind the walls of America's most notorious jail complex. If stories like this fascinate you, hit subscribe, because this one only gets darker. Rikers wasn't built for redemption. It was built for control. Steel doors slammed shut like punctuation marks, ending arguments before they began. The inmates called it the island that eats people. The correction officers called it the job. And somewhere between those two truths, justice disappeared. That summer, 17-year-old Malik Johnson stepped off the transport van in shackles, charged with a robbery he swore he didn't commit. He was scared, but not of the sentence. He was scared of Rikers. The guards told him to keep his head down. The older inmates told him not to. Both were bad advice. Malik's first night, a light buzzed overhead, flickering on and off like it couldn't decide whether to expose or hide what was happening in that block. A group of teens fought over a tray of food, and a guard watched, arms crossed, unmoved. When the fight ended, only one boy was left bleeding. The others disappeared into the noise. By week 2, Malik learned how Rikers really worked. There were no rules, only rhythms. Guards had favorites. Some inmates had deals. And the cameras? They pointed where the supervisors told them to. The footage was edited before the truth ever left the building. On the surface, it looked like discipline. In reality, it was control through chaos. One afternoon, Malik was ordered to the Bubble, a control room surrounded by glass where officers watched every cell. He'd been accused of talking back. A code phrase everyone knew for what came next. Inside, he faced 3 officers. One smiled. The other 2 adjusted their gloves. The door locked behind him with a click that felt final. "Since you like talking," one said, "let's see if you can talk after this." The camera light blinked red. Recording. But at Rikers, that didn't mean protection. It meant documentation, a reminder that power was watching. Minutes later, Malik was dragged out, dazed, blood on his shirt. The report said he resisted restraint. The footage told another story. Only it never reached the public. Not yet. That night, in the medical unit, Malik heard 2 guards whispering by the door. "They'll wipe it," one said. "Like they always do." The nurse stitched his lip without meeting his eyes. Outside, the city slept. Inside Rikers, the lights never went out. Somewhere in that maze of corridors, a drive held the footage that could destroy careers, or save a life. And before sunrise, it would vanish. In Rikers, silence was a currency, and everyone had a price. The morning after Malik's beating, the unit ran smoother than usual. Too smooth. The same guards who'd cornered him in the Bubble nodded politely during rounds. No threats, no smirks. That's when Malik knew something was wrong. At Rikers, peace wasn't mercy, it was cover-up time. Rumors traveled faster than light through those cell blocks. A janitor claimed he'd seen the footage before it was lost. Another inmate said a rookie guard had copied it to a flash drive out of guilt. Nobody could prove it. But Malik felt the air tightening, like the whole building was holding its breath. By day 3, the warden's office issued a memo: unauthorized distribution of facility footage will result in immediate termination. It sounded procedural, but inside, everyone knew whose video they meant. The officers closed ranks. Hallway cameras suddenly malfunctioned. Medical logs were updated. Malik's bruises faded, but the whispers didn't. A counselor pulled him aside, warning him to stop talking about the incident if he wanted to survive long enough for trial. "You don't understand," Malik said quietly. "They almost killed me." The counselor sighed. "I do understand. That's why I'm telling you to stop." That night, he couldn't sleep. Every echo in the corridor felt like footsteps coming for him. Across the tier, an older inmate named Rico watched him through the bars. Rico had been at Rikers long enough to know how the system chewed people up. "They only care if the news cares," Rico said through the dark. "Get the world to see you, maybe you live." Malik didn't know it yet, but someone outside already had. A legal aid intern named Alana Cruz was sorting case files when she noticed Malik's intake report listed injuries not explained in any disciplinary log. She'd heard the rumors too, about a video that had disappeared. Something about this kid's file didn't sit right. She requested internal footage for his block, only to be told the drives were corrupted. But Alana was stubborn. She filed a formal subpoena. Within 48 hours, her office phone started getting anonymous calls, heavy breathing, hang-ups. When she returned to the jail to speak with Malik, a correction captain accidentally misplaced her visitor clearance. Back inside, Malik got transferred to the Bing, solitary confinement. The guards called it protective custody. The inmates called it the box. 23 hours a day in a concrete cell the size of a bathroom. The lights stayed on. The silence roared. For 2 weeks, he didn't see a human face up close. Meals slid through a slot. Voices came distorted through vents. He started talking to himself, then stopped, afraid someone might record it and use it against him. And then, one morning, a folded note appeared under his door. No name. Just 5 words written in pencil. "They have the tape still." His heart pounded. Somewhere, someone had proof. Someone was still fighting. In the control tower above, a supervisor stared at his monitor, the red light blinking. He knew that tape could ruin everything, not just one officer, but the whole chain of command. He picked up the phone. "Handle it quietly," he said. By sunset, Malik's cell door buzzed open for routine inspection. 2 guards stepped in with empty forms and full intentions. Outside, thunder rolled over the East River. Inside Rikers, the storm was already here. The storm broke at dawn. Rain hammered the metal roof like fists on a door, drowning out the screams from somewhere down the hall. Rikers always sounded alive, but that morning, it felt cornered. 2 days after Malik's inspection, word spread fast. He'd been taken to the infirmary again. Broken ribs, concussion, no witnesses. The report said he slipped. Even the guards laughed at that. But something had changed this time, because someone was watching. Alana Cruz hadn't given up. The subpoena she filed had reached the Department of Investigation, and one low-level tech, tired of watching lies pile up, leaked an unlabeled flash drive. On it, 10 minutes of grainy surveillance footage showing 3 officers surrounding a teenager in the bubble. You couldn't see faces clearly. But the voices were enough. "Keep your head down. Turn the camera. Make it look like a fight." That leak hit the press like a match in gasoline. The New York Daily News ran the headline, "Caught on camera, teen beaten in Rikers control room." City Hall promised an investigation. But inside the island, that only made Malik more dangerous, not to society, but to the people guarding him. The warden denied everything. The union blamed fake news. Yet, within days, the same guards from the video were quietly reassigned. Malik, bruised and barely walking, was moved to an off-site medical unit under watch. The system had turned inward, panicked, defensive, afraid of its own reflection. And for the first time in his life, Malik had leverage. When Alana met him again, she noticed something different. The fear was still there, but beneath it was something sharper, purpose. "They can't erase it now," he told her. The world saw. The footage sparked outrage. Protests outside Rikers, hearings downtown, calls to close the facility altogether. Politicians toured the island with cameras, pretending they hadn't known. But Malik didn't care about speeches. He just wanted out. Months later, his case was quietly dismissed, insufficient evidence. He walked free, but not healed. Every sound still echoed like the cell door closing. Every shadow reminded him of the bubble. Rikers didn't just scar bodies, it reshaped souls. For Malik, freedom felt like a rumor he couldn't fully believe. Still, when a journalist asked him what justice looked like, he said, "Justice is when they stop pretending this was just me." A year later, the city announced new reforms: cameras in every hallway, civilian oversight boards, officer retraining. The same promises made a dozen times before. Yet, somewhere deep inside that complex of concrete and wire, another red light blinked above another door. Because Rikers isn't haunted by ghosts, it's haunted by the people still living inside it. The tape that exposed the truth became a symbol, not just of one boy's suffering, but of a system that feeds on silence. And every time another story leaks, the island shakes a little more. Malik never went back. But his name stayed whispered in those corridors, a warning and a legend. The boy who survived the bubble. If you think this story was intense, the next one will leave you speechless. Subscribe for more true crime stories that'll keep you on the edge of your seat.